Would you like to do a kirtan? Hare Krishna Mataji. Okay, then I'll start. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे.
You can make my laptop a co-host, Mataji.
हरे कृष्णा. Yes, Prabhuji. There are two devices. Okay, laptop. Okay.
If you can make both, you do that, because in case of any power failure, I can go with the data package.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Done, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Jaya Shall I do the Radha Madhav, Prabhuji?
Yes, please.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जना वल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी. जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयं उदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवयां भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी Nigamakалпадароргалитам phalam sugamukātamrta-drava-samyutam bivada-bhagavadara-samalayam muhuraho-rasiha-bhuvi-bhavukaha shanvatam svahadaha Krishna punya-shravana-kirtanaha hridiyantastohe abhadrani vidunoti sugrutsatam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna devotees, today we will be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 7th chapter, titled The Sacrifices Performed by Daksha. So we will be trying to understand from slokas 51 to 55. So what we will do is, I'll just give a small brief before we go into the actual slokas. Then I'll be reciting the slokas and then you can do the translation as well as the purport. So I'll give a small explanation for each purport. Then we will try to understand what is that we need to know from these 6 verses. So basically, this particular chapter, the sacrifices performed by Daksha. So we all know that story. And this is an explanation. The discussion is happening between Maitreya and Vidura. So Maitreya is explaining everything to Vidura. So we all know that Daksha had a problem with Lord Shiva, and Shiva's that loyal servant Veerabhadra went and attacked the yajna, and the yajna was completely destroyed. And Shiva's wife Sati Devi was committing harakiri, that she was leaving her body by jumping into the fire, yajna kunda. And also Daksha's head was cut, and then subsequently a goat head was placed on Daksha. So all these stories we know that. So then subsequently Brahmadev, along with all the demigods, they went to Lord Shiva so that to make him pacified, then he can give permission, because the yajna has not been completed. They need to again perform the yajna, right? So they were all doing it, and then Shiva was showing his mercy. Then he appeared, that in the sense he was telling that, yes, there is no mistake. A sort of a Vaishnava quality Shiva was exhibiting. Then due to that, what has happened is, when the yajna was started, Narayana, Lord Krishna was appearing there so that they can do the yajna. So when the Lord was visible, the few slokas earlier and from the beginning, it's all how all the demigods, Brahma, Shiva, everybody is there now. So they were showing the obeisances, great respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord, and all the assembled demigods, all the Brahmanas, including Daksha's wife, was glorifying the Supreme Lord. And also the in charge of various planets, the entire universe, they were all assembled there to see that. And the Brahmanas were started glorifying the Supreme Lord. And they were all glorifying the Lord and telling that, my dear Lord, we are all waiting eagerly so that you can give us the benediction and we can able to perform the yajna as per the Vedic rituals. Because those days, when they are performing the yajna, it is as per the Vedic ritual. So they need to very strictly follow all the niyamas, all the regulations they have to perform, and they were all very much pleased. And at that point, Maitreya was telling, so Vishnu, by glorified by all the present, the consciousness of Daksha got purified, because we all know that Daksha had a very, that impure consciousness, right? As a Vaishnava, he was not even showing any qualities to respect, and he disrespected Shiva. So all the consciousness, so Maitreya Muni is telling Vidura that he is into a platform where he got the highest qualities, very purified status he has achieved, Daksha. The person who was earlier was completely contaminated, now he has got purified. So he is eligible now. He is eligible to perform the yajna. So that is what he is telling. So Supreme Lord, when he came in the previous verse, he started talking about what is the status of all the three, Trayanam. In subsequent verses, we are going to see that how Lord Shiva, Brahma, Vishnu, everybody is equal in the sense he is going to give some advices on that. So he was telling, Vishnu was telling to Daksha in the previous verse, he was telling, myself, Shiva, we are all the supreme cause for the material manifestation. We all know that, right? Creation, maintenance, annihilation. So everybody is given certain responsibility, certain in charge in this material world, And the Supreme Lord was telling, I am the super soul and I am witnessing. See, what is that we need to understand from here is, when Shiva was disrespected, he was considering Shiva as an ordinary person, who Daksha was considering. So that is the reason, after all the glorification has taken place, Lord Vishnu is telling Daksha that don't think that Shiva is an ordinary person. Shiva is almost equal. And he is telling, Brahma as born, he came out from the transcendental body of Lord Vishnu. We all know that Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, like from the lotus, from the navel, the lotus is Brahma. So it is a transcendental appearance, Swayambhu. So transcendental appearance for Brahmadev. So similarly, Shiva is also born out of the body of Brahma, Rudra, that is between the two eyelids, two eyes, when he was showing in the mode of what do you say, that mode of anger, right? Mode of ignorance. So he is a symbol for mode of ignorance, Shiva. So thus, all these three, in a way, when we think, it is all similar. Everybody is same. The Veda says, though Brahma and Shiva has appeared, Narayana has appeared much before. He was present. There is no birth or no something like that. He was ever existing. He was eternally available. Narayana is eternally available, and through them, subsequently, all these jivas, other entities, all these avatars, everything is coming. We'll be doing all these things in subsequent verses. So Narayana or Lord Vishnu is the origin. So he is the origin for Brahma and Shiva. That is what in the previous verse he was telling. So with that understanding, we are going to read the subsequent verses 51 to 55 now, where the Lord is basically from 50 to 54. It is the instruction of Lord Vishnu given to Daksha. Then subsequently, the last verse, Daksha, understanding everything, he is going to give the obeisances to Lord Vishnu separately, and then subsequently to Lord Shiva. So he is understanding what is the position of Vishnu and Shiva and all those things. So let us now go to the sloka number 51 now. We will be starting from sloka number 51. I'll read the verse. Then subsequently, we can do the translation as well as the purport prole. Atmamayam samavishya sha aham gunamayim dvija srajan rakshan haran vishwam dadre samagnyam kriyochitam. I am not doing the word to word translation, so you can do the translation as well as purport. And
Sudha Mataji, you can call out the names, Mataji, if you have. You can. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vrishabhanu Mataji can read the translation and Sarika Mataji can read the purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Pranam Mataji. The Lord continued, my dear Daksha Dvija, I am the original personality of Godhead, but in order to create, maintain, and annihilate the cosmic manifestation, I act through my material energy, and according to the different grades, according to the different grade of activity, my presentations are differently named. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. As explained in Bhagavad Gita 7.5, Jiva Bhutam Mahabaho. The whole world is energy released from the Supreme Source, the personality of Godhead, who, it is further stated in Bhagavad Gita, acts in superior energies and inferior energies. The superior energy is the living entity, who is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. As parts and parcels, the living entities are not different from the Supreme Lord. The energy emanated from him is not different from him. But in the actual activity of this material world, the living entity is under the different qualities of material energy and in different forms. There are 8,400,000 life forms. 84 lakh life forms. The same living entity acts under the influence of the different qualities of material nature. The entities have different bodies, but originally, in the beginning of creation, Lord Vishnu is alone. For the purpose of creation, Brahma is manifested, and for annihilation, there is Lord Shiva. As far as the spiritual entrance into the material world is concerned, All beings are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, but under the covering of different material qualities, they have different names. Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are qualitative incarnations of Vishnu as guna avatars, and Vishnu with them accepts control of the quality of goodness. Therefore, he is also a qualitative incarnation like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. Actually, the different names exist for different directions. Otherwise, the origin is one only. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you. So basically, what is the understanding here is it is composed of gunas, which we saw that earlier also, right? Creating, maintaining, and annihilating, destroying the universe. So Narayana is telling here to Daksha that I take names based on my activity, but the Supreme Lord is only one person. So here what he says is, as per the scripture, that Vishnu is the only person. Then subsequently, for a different purpose, like in the material world, we are famous for being beyond the gunas. That is, Krishna says that I am above the gunas here. But for the purpose of certain activities, we all know the examples Srila Prabhupada used to give, right? How a jailer superintendent who is managing the criminals in the jail, not being a criminal, right? He may be in a mode of goodness. He may be a very good person, but his responsibility is to manage the criminals put in the jail. So similarly here, the Lord says, just for the purpose of different activities, different gunas, tamo guna, rajo guna, satvika guna. So different gunas I am creating. So that is what the understanding which he is trying to give for Daksha. Then in the purport, different acharyas, Srila Prabhupada, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakura, they are all giving. Apareyam itastva anyam prakritim viddime param, jiva bhuta mahabaho. This is explaining to Arjuna. Arjuna, in the battlefield, when he is getting confused, the Supreme Lord has to establish how powerful he is. So he is telling, mighty Arjuna, I have another energy, superior energy, which is of all the living entities. He says, the Supreme Lord is having different energies, right? Which we will be seeing in the subsequent verses and all. So he is telling, this superior energies of mine is nothing but the living entities. So we are talking about the living entities. Here the jivas, like Vishnu Tattva, Jiva Tattva, like that Brahma is in the Jiva Tattva. Shiva is between the Jiva and what is that called? Parameshwar. In between he is having a Tattva, Shiva Tattva. So Vishnu is telling that the superior energy of mind. So the whole world is released from the supreme source. So that should be the understanding. So the cause behind all such thing is from the Supreme Lord, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, Karanodakashayi Vishnu. We all know that, right? So from the Karanodakashayi Vishnu, every individual entities, every individual jivas is getting that energy. So the Supreme Lord is beyond the cause for everything. The entity may be having different bodies, but originally in the beginning of creation, Lord Vishnu is alone. He was independently available before started doing all these activities in this material world. Assuming that there is nothing has been started. So he is alone. Then he came. He started doing it. That means it got expanded from his side. That should be the understanding which he is explaining to Daksha in this particular verse. Now let us move into the second verse, 52nd verse. Tasmin Brahmani Advitiye Kevale Paramatmani Brahma Rudrau cha Bhutani Bede Nagnyo Anupshyati.
Hare Krishna. Vasudha Mataji, you can read the translation, and Shobha Mataji the purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Translation, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The Lord continued, one who is not in proper knowledge thinks that demigods like Brahma and Shiva are independent, or he even thinks that the living entities are independent. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The living entities, including Brahma, are not independently separated, but are counted within the marginal potency of Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord, being the super soul in every living entity, including Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, is directing everyone in the activities of the material modes of nature. No one can act independently of the sanction of the Lord, and therefore indirectly no one is different from the Supreme Person, certainly not Brahma and Rudra, who are incarnation of the material nature's mode of passion and ignorance. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So now we need to try to understand what is the connection between the previous verse and this verse. In the previous verse, Lord was telling about the different energies emanated from him, and he is non-different from, right? So here, when we are connecting to the previous verse, when Brahma, who is a Jiva, and Shiva, who is touched by the gunas, even though being Ishvara, how they are non-different from you. So this is the connection. For example, ignorant persons always see, when we look at a summary of this particular verse, ignorant people only see the difference because they are seeing the difference. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakura is writing, they see the difference between the Jiva and the Supreme Lord. We all know that, right? Achintya Beda Abeda Tattva, we all know that, right? Quality wise, we have the same quality what the Supreme Lord is having. So we will be seeing about the 64 qualities in the subsequent verses. So the ignorant person see the difference between the Jivas and the Supreme Lord, whereas the Supreme Lord is non-dual. He doesn't have somebody superior to him or somebody equal to him. Absolute Brahman and Paramatma. When we are talking about the Brahman and Paramatma stage, Paramatma is the Supreme, right? The Bhagavan is the Supreme, and it's only a question of realization, how people are realizing this Supreme Lord. So, Brahma, Shiva, and this thing, only the ignorant people see the difference. This we need to understand how the demigod worshippers are considering everybody is different, and they are thinking that these people are having different capacity. So let us go and surrender to some particular demigod. We will ignore the Supreme Personality. So that is what we need to understand. The Jivas are exactly non-different from the Supreme Lord because they are the Supreme Lord's Tatastha Sakti. What is the meaning of Tatastha is marginal potency of the Supreme Lord. That marginal potency is nothing but Jiva, Jiva Tattva. Everybody is having some limited time in this material world, from ant to Lord Brahma. We have read that, right? So this is called a Jiva. That means the soul inside that particular body has to move out from one body to another body at the time when they are leaving their body. This is called Jiva Tattva. This Jiva Tattva is getting the energy from one particular source. We call it as Sakti and Saktiman. Saktiman, that means the generator is producing the power, correct? So the power as well as the generator, both are considered same, whereas the generator is having some additional extra capacity, all those things. So to the understanding for the devotee, when the devotee wanted to understand, Sakti and the Saktiman is non-different. Basically, because of the Guna avatars, the Supreme Lord is responsible for the three modes of material nature, modes of these three gunas. He is the creator of three gunas. For that, he is putting Brahma and Shiva as in charge for that. So they are non-different. That should be the understanding. So in the purport, the Supreme Lord being the super soul in every living entity, including Lord Brahma and Shiva, he is directing everyone in which direction they have to go. You have created a big factory. You are the chief executive officer. You are the owner of that particular factory. You know everything in and out about the trade of that particular factory. You know that. So you are appointing different people and you are giving the instructions. You need to run this department. You need to run this department. You need to run this department. So being a owner, he knows everything, but he is away from the MD of operations, MD of marketing, MD of finance. He is away from all those things. He is having the overall in charge for directing how this thing has to happen. So similarly here, Vishnu, though he is the creator of the gunas and appointing Shiva and Brahma, he is beyond all those things, but he is directing them. So that is the understanding for this particular sloka. So we will be going into the next sloka, 53 sloka. Yata pumana swangeshu shirapani adishu kvachit parakya buddhim kurute evam bhuteshu matparaha.
Hare Krishna, Archana Mataji, you read the purport and Kripamai Sita Devi Dasi the purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Pranam Prabhu. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A person with average intelligence does not think the head and other parts of the body to be separate. Similarly, my devotees does not differentiate Vishnu, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, from anything or any living entity. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, am I audible, Mataji?
Hare
Am I
Krishna.
audible?
Yes,
Yes,
Mataji, there is some
Okay.
disturbance.
yes, Mataji. Read.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Whenever there is disease in any part of the body, the whole body takes care of the ailing part. Similarly, a devotee's oneness is manifested in his compassion for his conditioned souls. Bhagavad Gita 5.18 says, Panditaha Samadarshinaha. Those who are learned to see everyone's conditional life equally, devotees are compassionate to every conditioned soul, and therefore they are known as Aprakaya Buddhi, because devotees are learned and know that every living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. They reach Krishna consciousness to everyone so that everyone may be happy. If a particular part of the body is diseased, the whole attention of the body goes to that part. Similarly, devotees care for any person who is forgetful of Krishna and therefore in material consciousness. The equal vision of the devotee is that he works to get all living entities back home, back to Godhead. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So basically the summary, when we are connecting from the previous verse to this verse, the previous verse we saw that ignorance will see the difference, right? They will be like in the sense they will be not in a position to understand. But here, all the acharyas are giving, devotees never see the difference. So it is something from the previous verse to this verse when we see, devotees never see the difference. How to understand this statement? Because the devotee see himself as a non-different from all beings. All being means all jivas. We have spoken about the jiva tattva, right? The soul moving from one. So the jiva tattva, the devotee, they don't see anything between one soul to another soul. How? They are para dukkha dukhi, right? Vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane gavi hastini suni chaiva swa pakecha panditaha samadarshinaha. Krishna conscious person, because he sees the Supreme Lord everywhere, whether it is a Brahmana, Vaishya, it is only a caste system, right? Similarly, the species, something can be called a dog, something can be called a cow, or something can be called as an elephant, but he sees everybody as a soul. There is no meaning in the sense, you are talking about a body, an analogy given in this particular verse. When we are talking about the body, you said, I will give only importance to my head only. I am not bothered about my rest of my limbs, eyes, stomach, legs, and something like that. Are we seeing like that? No, we are not looking into that. We are completely taking my entire body. I need to keep my entire body fit for performing into the service of the Supreme Lord. Or materially also you want to do that. You have to keep your body intact. So you are giving the focus on all the parts of your body. So similarly here, the Krishna conscious person, he doesn't look at the caste system. He looks everybody as the soul of the Supreme Lord. The same soul is in the dog, the same soul is in the plant, the same soul is in a Brahmana, the same soul is in an American. So he is looking in that way. That is what it is written as, they are known as aparakya buddhi, because they know how a living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. A part and parcel of the Supreme Lord is the quality wise. The quality wise, everything we are having. So that is why it is called Pandita Samadarshanaga. He sees everybody as equal. So in that way, from the previous verse to this verse, when we come, the devotees do not see any difference. So here, Daksha should not have seen any difference in Lord Shiva. That is what we are trying to understand. So all these 5 slokas, if you see how Daksha has made a mistake in disrespecting Lord Shiva earlier. So that is the reason all these things are given, explained by Lord Krishna, that is Narayana is instructing to Daksha. He is completely giving the complete philosophy of the scriptures, that how he being a great, he had a very good qualities. He is not an ordinary person. He is having full faith. All those things he was having it. Unfortunately, those things has happened. Through them, the Lord Krishna is again giving how things have to be differentiated, how things have to be respected. So with that understanding, we are going to the next verse, sloka number 54. त्रयाणाम् एकभावानं या न पश्यति वैबिधां सर्वभूतात्मनं ब्रह्मन् सा शान्तिम् अधिगच्छति.
Shilpa Mataji, you read the translation and I'll read the purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
The Lord continued. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Lord continued. One who does not consider Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, or the living entities in general to be separate from the Supreme, and who knows Brahman, actually realizes peace. Others do not. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. 2 words are very significant in this verse. Trayanam indicates 3, namely Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Lord Vishnu. Vidam means different. They are 3 and therefore they are separate. But at the same time, they are one. This is the philosophy of simultaneous oneness and difference, which is called Achintya Abheda Tattva. The example given in the Brahma Samhita is that milk and yogurt are simultaneously one and different. Both are milk, but the yogurt has become changed. In order to achieve real peace, one should see everything and every living entity, including Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, as non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No one is independent. Every one of us is an expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This accounts for unity in diversity. There are diverse manifestations, but at the same time, they are one in Vishnu. Everything is an expansion of Vishnu's energy. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So when we start comparing the previous verses, in the last verse we said a devotee is not seeing any difference, right? So what happens when you don't see any difference? The result of seeing non-difference is given in this particular verse. So all the acharyas are writing, a person who do not see any difference between 3 of them, like 3 of us, because here Vishnu is talking, right? So 3 of us, Shiva, Brahma, Vishnu, they attain peace. They attain peace means they are not getting anything agitated. Completely adhigachati. They are attaining that peace. Shantim adhigachati. Daksha has completely lost his mind. He was not seeing everybody as same, and he started differentiating. And we all subsequently know the story, how he lost his peace of mind, how he lost his daughter, how he lost his body, how he wanted to perform the yajna was completely destroyed. Then he need to repent for everything. So by a simple foolish action of not respecting Lord Shiva, finding a differentiation between Shiva and Vishnu, he lost his peace of mind. That is what in the purport it is very clearly mentioned, Trayanam, how important is to understand these 3 people. And in the previous verses, we just try to understand how they can be different is for the gunas, which the owner is directing them to perform based on the gunas for which they have been assigned. Achintya Beda Abeda Tattva, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is talking, like Srila Prabhupada has given here certain examples. So we all know that a drop of sea water and the entire ocean tastes the same salty water, right? So this is the quality, Achintya Beda. Whereas in the quantity wise, if you see the sea water has occupied, which we cannot easily count the measurement, so many square kilometers of water it is occupying. Whereas a drop of water in your palm, it is a little drop. So that is the quantity, Achintya Beda. So we are all part and parcel of the Supreme Lord only through the quality. but quantity wise, we cannot match with the Supreme Lord. So in that way, we need to understand Shiva, Brahma are equal to the Supreme Lord. So with that understanding, we are going for the last verse, 55 verse.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, one small clarification in that purport, Prabhuji.
Yes.
In order to achieve real peace, one should see everything and every living entity, including Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, as non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Correct.
Particularly, Prabhuji, in order to achieve the real peace, one should see everything and every living entity.
Yes.
That sentence is to be a little bit unfold, Prabhuji, just because we are in materialistic world. We have to see everything and every living entity as a equal in order to achieve real peace. That's real peace. One word is also there. So
Okay.
how it is to be applicable in our daily life, Prabhuji?
No problem. We will discuss when we finish.
Okay,
End of the
Prabhuji.
day.
Hare
Again,
Krishna.
you kindly ask.
Ah,
I am
please,
giving
Prabhuji.
you a lot of explanation.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare
Kindly
Krishna.
ask this one. End of
Okay.
the session.
Hare Krishna.
Sloka number 55. Maitreya vacha evam bhagavata adishtaha prajapati patirharim architva kratanau svena devan ubahayato ayajat.
Hare Krishna. Divya Mataji, you read the translation, and Srimati Shampriya Mataji the purport. Hare Krishna.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The sage Maitreya said, thus Daksha, the head of all Prajapatis, having been nicely instructed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, worshipped Lord Vishnu. After worshipping him by performing the prescribed sacrificial ceremonies, Daksha separately worshipped Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, pranams Prabhuji. Lord Vishnu should be offered everything and his prasada should be distributed to all the demigods. This practice is still followed in the temple of Jagannatha at Puri. There are many temples of demigods around the main temple Jagannatha, and the prasada which is offered first to Jagannatha is distributed to all the demigods. The deity of Bagalin is worshipped with the prasada of Vishnu, and also in the famous Lord Shiva temple at Bhuvaneshwara, the prasada of Lord Vishnu or Jagannatha is offered to the deity of Lord Shiva. This is Vaishnava principle. The Vaishnava does not deride even ordinary living things, including the small ant. Everyone is offered proper respect according to his position. The offering, however, is in relation to the center, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna or Vishnu. The devotee who is highly elevated sees the relationship to Krishna in everything. He does not see anything as being independent of Krishna. That is his vision of oneness. Hare Krishna. Pranams.
Hare Krishna. So the summary for this particular verse is final. Instruction from the Supreme Lord to Daksha is finished. So Daksha is worshipping Lord Vishnu. That is the understanding from this particular verse. And we have seen some of the things in the purport which was mentioned. Like the prasada first offered, even when we are performing the sacrifice, any specific sacrifice when we are doing, Bhaktaram Yagna Tapasham Sarvaloha Maheshwaram, right? So anything you perform, anything sacrifice in the Yagna Kunda, the Yagnapati is Vishnu. So he is only getting it. Whether you are performing Yagna by reciting or by invoking any demigods and all, it is only sent to Vishnu only. That should be the understanding here. So he is beyond all the gunas. That's what he is telling, right? I am in charge for creating the gunas. But don't expect me to be inside that guna. He is defining all the rules and regulations, but you don't expect him to follow the rules and regulations. Like in a king, in a kingdom, the king is making a lot of rules and regulations for the inhabitants, for the citizens. Don't expect him. He is beyond the law. Only in the democracy we can say that everybody is equal under the law. But in monarchy, nothing called everybody is equal. King is the decision maker. So he is not falling under the directives issued by him. So similarly in this here, when we say that Lord Vishnu is above everybody, and that is the reason Daksha is worshipping Vishnu, and subsequently in the coming verses and all, we will know that Daksha started worshipping Shiva separately, because Shiva he has insulted earlier, right? he realized everything, and subsequently he is worshipping Shiva. In this connection, I'll try to give you one small example from Chaitanya Charitamrita, like how Lord Vishnu was offered everything. That was on an Ekadashi day, and this is found in the Adi Leela 14th chapter. So it is on an Ekadashi day, and what we are doing on Ekadashi day, we completely change our prasadam making, right? We will be taking whatever prasadam we can take on that day only we will prepare. And we will put the Supreme Lord also to fast on that day. Because generally we prepare a lot of things for Supreme Lord. But because it is Ekadashi, no, my Lord, I am going to eat only samo rice today, so I will make only samo rice, so you also take samo rice. But here, it has not happened like that. Jagadisha and Hiranya Pandita, two great Brahmanas. If you go deep into that story, it will take a lot of time. But this Jagadisha and Hiranya, they were very, very great Brahmanas during Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time, and they used to prepare a sumptuous prasad on every Ekadashi day, and they offer to the Supreme Lord. But they follow all the Ekadashi principles and all. So the small Nimai, what he did, he pretending himself to be sick, he started crying, and he was telling his daddy, "No, Jagannath Mishra, my dear dad, I am very sick today. I need to eat full prasadam." So Jagadisha and Hiranya is making the prasad. So why don't you go to their house and bring that prasad? It is not a neighbor. It is something like 2-3 kilometers away from Jagannath Mishra's house. And somehow Jagannath Mishra went there, and when he told that my son Nimai is asking that you people have made, Jagadisha and Hiranya was surprised to find how the small boy is understood that we have made so much sumptuous prasad today. So they immediately realized that this Nimai is not an ordinary person. So that is how they get associated with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and subsequently they have wonderful leelas with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, we can understand that. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got that, so he is beyond. So the Supreme Lord has performed a small leela for us to understand. So basically, the position of the Supreme Lord is completely different. And now let us try to understand few evidences from the Shastras, how Krishna is the Supreme and what are all the references given here. So basically the 6 verses here tells Daksha that though Shiva is equal to me, but still he is beyond everybody, and he is having his unique position of the Supreme Lord. Parashuram, we all know Parashuram, right? Renuka Sutta, Jamadagni, Maharaj Jamadagni and Srimati Renuka Devi's son. Parshuram is one of the avatars of Lord Krishna. So he is very well known for his anger, and he was eliminating the Kshatriya community so many times. I think it is 21 times or 22 times. He eliminated the Kshatriya community because they were all irreligious people and they were not following the principles. So this Parshuram is a Siranjeevi, he is like an immortal in the sense like Hanuman. Hanuman, how he doesn't have, he will be there for any number of yugas, he will be there. So this Parshuram is also like that. And he has seen Lord Ramachandra, and he is there in the Krishna avatar also. Parshuram was there. So he has taught Dronacharya the archery. So that is how he was associated with the Mahabharata war and all. We all know that how Bhishma Pitama was also having some issues with Parshuram, and Parshuram was defeated. So all these things, this Parshuram is always there. And even it is mentioned in the Kalki Avatara, he is going to be Lord Krishna's, that is Vishnu's spiritual master. He is going to take the role of a spiritual master in the Kalki Avatar also. So he is a Siranjeevi, and he is telling who is the Supreme Lord is Krishna. He was there in Ramachandra Bhagavan's Leela, and he is in Krishna Leela also, Krishna Avatar time also. And he himself is telling that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality. Though he has taken so many avatars and all, everything is emanating from Krishna only. So that is, he is the Supreme Person. So that is one of the statements made by a stronger personality who has seen so many avatars and who is going to see the Kalki Avatar also. Similarly, in Bhagavad Gita also, the Lord is telling, right? Aham adirhi devanam. That is, I am the source of all the devas. That from me only everything is coming. But subsequently, Krishna is telling in that particular verse, even demigods or even the great sages, they cannot understand my origin. They cannot understand my opulences. Like how we are now confused, right? The Prabhu has asked a question, right? Same thing, it is not very easy for us to understand. That's what Krishna is telling here. I am the source of everything, including the sages, great sages also I am the source. But it is not easily, it can be understood. Advaitam, Achyutam, Anatim, Ananta Rupam. Ananta Rupam means the initial, original, Adi Rupam is the Supreme Lord. From this Adi Rupam only, all the things are getting emanated. Different grades of forms. We call it as Swamsa, Vibhyamsha. That is an expansion. Swamsa means expansion of Vishnu Tattva. All the avatars which we have seen, right? Different avatars we have seen, right? All are Vishnu Tattva. Like Ramachandra Bhagavan, Vamana Avatar, and Nrsingadev Bhagavan. All these things are called Swamsa. When we are talking about Vibhinamsha is a Jiva Tattva. Mamaivamsham Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaka. Everybody is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, which the Supreme Lord himself is telling. You people are coming under the Jiva Tattva. So, such high philosophy is very, very difficult to understand. And for that also, Krishna is telling, Name vidu sura ganaha prabhavam na maharshayaha. The demigod, sages, great personalities, it is very, very difficult for them to understand as I am the source. How you can understand all these things is the Supreme Lord is telling that we need to surrender complete to a spiritual master. There is a beautiful verse in Bhagavatam also. So by the grace of the Guru only, the spiritual master can understand the different kinds of devas. The word deva means Supreme Lord, but not Supreme Lord. Deva means God. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead is above all the devas. He is source of all the demigods. So that understanding only a spiritual master. Sarva Deva Mayo Guru. Everybody is Deva. Sarva Deva Mayo Guru. Guru is also compared to Krishna, right? I think in one of the classes we have explained that how a Guru is considered as Krishna himself. So, a Guru can explain how there is a difference between the Devas and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, that is what Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is writing in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishna nahi mane tate daityo korimani. Chaitanya na manile toiche daitya tare jani. So, what is the meaning of this is, if somebody is not accepting Krishna as the Supreme Personality, similarly, if somebody is not accepting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they are considered as a demon, because this high philosophy will be very, very difficult to understand. So a simple analogy which Prabhupada has given is from the milk, how curd is coming. Though it is the same product, but they are all completely, totally different. From the milk only we are getting subsequently, we are getting a curd, subsequently we are getting a buttermilk, subsequently we are getting a cheese, subsequently we are getting a ghee. But the origin for everything is what? It is the milk. So thus the Supreme Lord, if we fail to understand Krishna nahi mane, if we fail to understand that Krishna, then we are considered as a demon. When we talk about Jarasandha, Jarasandha is a great Kshatriya. He was having lot of qualities. He was completely following the scriptural injunctions. He was very charitable. He was respecting all the Brahmanas. He was doing so many yajnas and all. But he failed to accept Krishna as the Supreme Lord, and subsequently he behaved like a demon and he was killed by Krishna himself. So it is not very easy to understand all these things. That's what Srila Prabhupada is also writing in Ishopanishad. When we read about the introduction of Ishopanishad, Prabhupada is writing, he is considered as the highest authority by all class of men. What is the meaning of all class of men? Whether it is impersonalist or personalist. Because generally what is happening is one class of people are called as Mayavadi, right? Mayavadi means they don't respect, they don't have faith in the form of the Lord, and they only see the light, the expansion of the Lord, Brahman, Brahma Jyoti we are telling, right? So they are known as a Vedantist. They know everything, all the scriptures, everything they know, like Shankaracharya, led by Shankaracharya. And then subsequent transcendentalist Vaishnavas, like we know Ramanujacharya, Madhavacharya, Vishnu Swami, Nimbarga, all these things. So that Shankaracharya, that Shankar Sampradaya, where Shankaracharya is writing that Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is beyond the cosmic manifestation. And then subsequently, he is telling that Narayana is none other than Krishna. He is an impersonalist. But he himself is admitting, of course, for Vaishnavas, we don't have to go to so deep into that. All the Vaishnavas have given a very, very clear understanding that the Supreme Lord is Narayana, Krishna. Shankaracharya Prabhupada in one of the lectures is telling, when Shankaracharya was writing Sa Bhagavan Swayam Krishna, he is writing Swayam Krishna, and then subsequently is telling he appeared as son of Devaki and Nandana. So Shankaracharya don't want others to get confused. Krishna means which Krishna? Who is this Krishna? Maybe lots and lots of Krishnas will be there. So to avoid that confusion, he says the Krishna, the Supreme Personality which I am talking is none other than son of Devaki and Vasudeva. Prabhupada very jokingly says that when we are writing our passport and all, we used to write our father name, mother name, so many things we are giving so that the immigration authorities will identify exactly, yes, this person is from this village, he is born to this parent. So like that, Shankaracharya is telling that he is son of Devaki and Vasudeva. That is the greatness of this impersonalist. They are all telling. And also we are also reading so many things, right? Etecha amsa kalapumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So many incarnations are mentioned. So many incarnations we have seen. And how to identify all these incarnations, even a great amount of the qualities, how the Supreme Lord is beyond, how he is the superior, how he is the chief of all these. We know that Krishna is having 64 qualities, important qualities. We are having a small portion, around 50 qualities are there in the Jivas. When we are talking about 60 qualities, then he is known as Narayana. Only the 4 qualities are differentiating. When we are talking about Shiva, he is having 55 qualities. So this is how the qualities, through the qualities, how the Supreme Lord is superior to rest of his incarnations, rest of his forms. When we are talking about what is that 4 qualities which is getting differentiated between Narayana and Krishna, we know that it is a Leela Madhuri, Venu Madhuri, Prema Madhuri, Rupa Madhuri. What is that called? He is able to perform wonderful pastimes which none of the other Jivas can perform. Maybe some of them will say that Shiva is also performing certain things and all. But the wonderful pastimes, all these things which easily cannot be performed. And such great pastimes is the Supreme Lord's Rasa Leela. Then Venu Madhuri, whenever he takes that flute playing, such a sweet and melodious sound, it attracts the minds of everyone in all the world. 3 worlds we are telling, right? So that Venu Madhuri is that Prema Madhuri is always surrounded by devotees, not by us. The devotee means they should have an incomparable Madhura Prema, they need Madhurya Rasa, they are calling, right? Madhurya Rasa. So it is there in the Bhava stage, the last stage they are going, Prema. Bhava stage only they can go to the Prema. So they are going into the Madhurya Prema, the Prema Madhuri. Then Rupa Madhuri, such a beautiful form the Supreme Lord is having. So when they are talking about all these things, the Acharyas are completely writing, yes, he is the Supreme. So same thing when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was explaining everything to Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami is like after we know all the stories, right? How he has to come out from the Hussain Shah's kingdom, and Sanatana Goswami has already been there, and now he is there now. He is explaining all these expansions of the Supreme Lord, and he is proving how the Supreme Lord, Lord Krishna, is completely different. Yetecha amsakala pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Hridayanti Yuge Yuge. It is what Suta Goswami, when he is telling, the Lord first expanded himself, the universal form, how all these things got generated, the universal form. He has been the Karanodakashayi Vishnu, he has been the Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, he has been to the Shirodakashayi Vishnu. As the Purusha avatars, how the different avatars have come, all as emanated from Krishna only. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was explaining all these things, he was talking about different expansions. Krishnera Swabhavika Athina Shakti Parinati, Chit Shakti, Jiva Shakti or Maya Shakti. So the starting of all these things is Krishna is exhibiting three different types of potency: spiritual potency, living entity potency, and the Maya Shakti, illusory potency. These three is coming from Krishna. From here only everything is getting diversified. So we should not get unnecessary confusion that everybody is equal and everybody is having the equal potency of the Supreme Lord. No, he is completely giving all these things. That is what in Bhagavad Gita also is telling. I am unborn. My transcendental body never destroys. And although I am the Lord of all the living entities, my spiritual potency, I still appear every millennium in my original transcendental form. The Supreme Lord is taking different forms, different avatars and all. Na? Here in this particular sloka, he says, every millennium, yuga, paritranaya sadhunam, we all know that. So, in every yuga, when the Supreme Lord is appearing, he comes in this transcendental form. And Krishna, the transcendental form of the Supreme Lord, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explaining to Rupa Goswami, Advaita, Advaya Jnana Tattva Vraja Vrajendra Nandana, which is the original form of the Supreme Lord, Adi Rupam. We are telling about Adi Rupam, right? Which is the original form of the Supreme Lord is when he has appeared. He's telling Sanatana, you have to understand that Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj in Vrindavana, that is the form of the Supreme Lord. And from here only, everything is completely changing. So when he is talking about the forms of the Supreme Lord, just to try to understand the Shiva and Brahma thing and all, I am just giving you. He is telling Swayam Rupa Tat Ekatma Rupa Avesha Nama Pratamai Tina Rupa Rahene Bhagavan. So basically the Supreme Lord is taking three different forms: Swayam Rupa, Tat Ekatma Rupa, and Avesha Rupa. What is the meaning of Tat Ekatma is, it is like simultaneously it is like the Swayam Rupa. Both are non-different. Tat Ekatma Rupa and the Swayam Rupa. Swayam Rupa is Krishna. Tat Ekatma Rupa is expansion of the Supreme Lord. Both are same, but what is the difference here is bodily features. Tat Ekatma is having some bodily difference. Like how to understand is the expansions, the first expansions we are telling, or Lord Ramachandra we are telling, or Narsinghadev Bhagavan we are telling. It is a Tat Ekatma Rupa of the Swayam Rupa. From Krishna only this has come. But bodily features, they have certain bodily features. The Tat Ekatma is having Swamsa and Vilasha. Again, in that you have two forms, which Sanatana Goswami is getting explained from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Swamsa and Vilasa means the pastimes of the Lord. When the Lord is performing the pastimes, it is called Vilasa form. How to understand that here? Take the examples of Lord Krishna himself. He is performing a pastime here. Maybe just for our understanding, let us take three pastimes. He is lifting the Govardhana Leela, and he is dancing with the gopis, Rasa Leela. And he has expanded himself into 16,108 husbands in Dwaraka. So all these things, when we are looking into that, this is all a Vilasa form of the same person, right? Lord Krishna, it looks like he is a different person. In the Rasa Leela, the gopis were thinking, oh, Krishna is dancing with me separately. He was dancing on the left hand side one gopi, on the right hand side one gopi. So the gopis on the left hand side, by looking at Krishna, they were thinking Krishna is exclusively dancing with me only. On the right hand side, that gopi is thinking, oh, Krishna is dancing only with me. But it is one person. For both of them looks like they are dancing only with one person. So this is called the Vilasa form for performing, but he is non-different. Same person only, the same Krishna, the Swayam Rupa. So he has taken the Vilasa form. So that is called the Swamsa Vilasa form. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explaining everything. But his original Rupam, Adi Rupam, that Adi Rupam is Lord Krishna. What is Vaibhava Prakasha? Vaibhava Prakasha is completely having a different features for, maybe we can call it as an emotional feature. When he is crying in front of, during the Damodar Leela, it is a different form which we are seeing, right? The beauty of the Lord is totally a different beauty when he is crying, when he is exhibiting his emotions, it is different. So similarly, the avatars also, though he is the same person, he takes a different avatars. Maybe we can call it as a Purusha avatara, Leela avatara, Guna avatara, Manvantara avatara, Yuga avatara, Sakti Avesha avatara. Sakti Avesha avatara means we can talk about Narada Muni, we can talk about Sanat Kumara, even I can say Srila Prabhupada is Sakti Avesha avatara of Lord Krishna. Why? They have been empowered by the Supreme Lord to perform certain things. So, such things can be exhibited only by the Supreme Lord. That intelligence can be given only by the Supreme Lord. That capacity can be given only by the Supreme Lord. Whatever the qualities, best of the qualities, best of this power which the Supreme Lord is having, he is distributing, he is empowering the persons to exhibit only that particular portion of his qualities. This is a Satyaveshara avatara. So all these things is completely in the Supreme Lord's thing, and he is expanding accordingly. So with that understanding, we will come to know that Shiva, Brahma, though they are having, but they are all different from the Supreme Lord. Bhaktiya mam abhijanati yavan yas chashmi tatvadaka tata mam tatvanyato vishate tat anantaram. They can understand me. Supreme Lord is telling they can understand me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead only by devotional service. All these things, somebody, if they are listening, somebody says they will get a lot of confusion. What is that? I am not able to understand anything. Krishna is completely different, but at the same time he is same. So how to understand means once we enter into a devotional service, once we start serving the devotees of the devotees of the devotees of the Lord, servants of the servant of the servant of the Lord only, we will try to understand that. And only in such a position, the devotee can enter into my kingdom. Vishate tat anantaram. Bhaktiyamam abhichanati. When they are talking like that. So that is what Krishna is telling. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Acharyas are writing, Janma guhyam bhagavato ye etat prayato narha sayam pratar granan bhaktya dukkha gramat vimushyate. Whoever is very carefully, they are trying to understand the mysterious appearance of the Supreme Lord. It is a mysterious appearance, right? We are unable to understand the different avatars, different appearance of the Supreme Lord. We are unable to understand. With great devotion, if they are constantly meditating on my forms, they are trying to understand. They perform devotion in the morning and evening. They are completely relieved from the miseries of life. What is the greatest benefit we are understanding? We have seen that, right? Attains peace. In the last few verses earlier, what is the result of knowing the difference? When a devotee understands that there is no difference, knowing this, what happens is they attain peace, right? The same thing he is telling, Janma kuhyam bhagavata, dukkha gramat vimushyate. By understanding the mysterious appearances, Janma guhyam bhagavata, the Bhagavan's appearance, when somebody is understanding, dukkha gramat, they are coming out from the miseries of their life. So they get the happiness. The same thing the Supreme Lord is telling in the Bhagavad Gita, right? Janma karma chame divyam evam yoveti tattvataha. So when somebody is understanding that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who knows the principles of transcendental birth and activities of the Supreme Lord, they go back to Godhead. Completely they are relieved from the material turbulence. So understanding the Supreme Lord, understanding all these people definitely gives us the great relief, and it gives peace of mind. So here Daksha got peace of mind after completely understanding the Supreme Lord is Vishnu, and he started praying to the Supreme Lord, and subsequently he respected Lord Shiva. So that is our understanding for these verses today. So thank you very much. And if you want to have any doubts, we will have for a few minutes. That Prabhuji, you asked the question. Can you repeat that question, Prabhuji? Yes, Mataji. Suma Mataji, just give me a second. Somebody asked one question in the earlier session, in the beginning of the session.
Prabhu, you can ask Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I have to say that purport, Prabhuji, purport.
Yes, purport. What is it you said? You wanted to understand how it is the same, how it is different, right?
Yes, Prabhuji. In order to achieve real peace, one should see everything and every living entity, including Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, as non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Correct.
My question is, Prabhuji, in order to achieve real peace, one should see everything and every living entity as a equal. We have to see every living entity is the part and parcel of Sri Krishna, what your kind self has told. In material life, how we can see every living entity as the Supreme Lord. So how we have to so please unfold that, Prabhuji, particularly that to
Okay,
see everything.
it is sort of a very difficult to follow this particular philosophy, Prabhuji. Only through practice it will come. But I'll tell you what is the exact meaning of that and how you will be applying into your life. So Prabhupada has given a beautiful example, like for this particular thing. It is like a body. You have body with everything is there, right? You have two eyes, two ears. Just for an example, for our understanding, on the left hand of your body, you have some black patch. Okay. And other portion of your body is very bright, whitish complexion, and you have so many good colors. Only on the left hand side of your side, you have a black patch. And you feel that it is very, very ugly for me. So will you go and cut that particular portion? No, no, no. This portion looks very ugly for me. I don't want this portion. Can we do that?
No,
We don't
Prabhuji.
do that. We don't do that, right?
Yes.
We accept that as our body. So here, similarly, when we want to get a peace, unless we see everything as the Supreme Lord, that is what it says, Samadarshinaha, which comes to the great Bhagavatas, only Mahatmas. When we read Bhagavad Gita for this particular portion, the Samadarshinaha comes only to a great person who has already practiced so much of devotional service, and it has to come to that level. So to come to that level is lot of practices. So how it is understood that to see everything as equal is, like I gave an example, the same way, Jiva is the soul, Atma is there in every living entity, right? Atma, when we talk about the qualities Atma, when we go to the second chapter in Bhagavad Gita, when we talk about the features of the soul, soul cannot be killed at all. Soul cannot be destroyed. Soul cannot be burnt. Soul cannot be submerged into the water. So many qualities. That means it is ever existing. That soul has come from the Supreme Lord. But only thing is, because it doesn't have the form, we are not at all giving any respect to that particular soul. The form which appearing to us is the body where the soul is occupied. For example, it has occupied into a dog. It has occupied into a snake. Or it has occupied into some of the persons whom you are not going well for no reasons for that. If we see some of the people, we will automatically get some sort of an aversion by looking at their face. But actually, it is all composed of the soul which has come from the Supreme Lord. Once we get the intelligence to understand that what I am seeing is only the soul, that is what Krishna initially to Arjuna is telling, don't look at Bhishma Pitama there. Don't look at Dronacharya there. You look at the soul which cannot be destroyed. Your affection, your compassion is because you are seeing an exterior portion, the body of Bhishma, so you are into loving affection onto your spiritual, your teacher, martial teacher. But you have to look into inside, which is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. When we are respecting a particular person, that's what Srila Prabhupada used to say, if you want to love a millionaire, you need to love his dog, because the dog is from the millionaire's house. So similarly, in that way, when we are looking the soul as part and parcel of the Supreme Lord and we respect that soul, automatically the aversion or the attraction on that particular living entity is lost. We look into Samadarshinaga. This is also Supreme Lord. So instead of giving anything, you respect all the living entities. When you do that respect, automatically you get peace of mind. You are not getting any enmity. You are not on jealous. Whether the person is highly qualified, whether the person is very beautiful, whether the person is having very rich money, he is having a big house. So all these contaminated qualities will not exhibit when you see that it is soul and Krishna is enjoying such beauty. Oh, see Krishna's soul, how beautiful. See Krishna's soul, how qualified. See Krishna's soul, how he has put it in a very luxurious life. So automatically your thought goes into Krishna, you are liking the soul of Krishna is enjoying. So when it comes, peace of mind, no jealous, no angry, no contamination. So that should be our understanding. To practicing this is a difficult process. It is not going to happen immediately. Only through sadhu sangha, constant reading of scriptures, constant reading of Prabhupada's books, constant chanting only, we will come to that level. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji, I little bit have catch hold that point. The thing is, we must not give importance to the body. We have to see his soul.
Correct.
Okay, Prabhuji. So it is to be attained only by practice.
Yes,
Okay,
definitely.
thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. I
Hare
will
Krishna.
make sure of that. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, in connection with this, I'll ask one question, Prabhuji. Padma Mataji, I'll give you a chance later, Mataji. Prabhuji, in the
Problem.
second, thank you, Mataji. In the second offense, among the 10 offenses, that second offense is that we should not see Lord Brahma or Lord Vishnu to be equal, Lord Shiva to be equal or independent of Lord Vishnu. So, Prabhuji, I just wanted to ask Prabhuji, like, how is that, Prabhuji, we can understand, like, because Prabhu asked this question, so I just thought, but now I have that doubt, like, how can we do both, Prabhuji? Like, we are not supposed to see both as equal.
Yeah, they are not independent also. That is what we saw in one of the purports, that he is responsible for the gunas and he is directing. So everything has come from Krishna only. So in that way, they don't have anything on their own. They don't have anything independently provided to them. This has been given by somebody else. Okay, you are creating a doll. You just look at some that robo which people are creating. The scientists, engineers are creating a robo. The robo performs so many activities, but it is not independently. It is not doing anything, right? Somebody has trained. Somebody has completely programmed. You have to do like this. You have to do like this. You have to do like that. So will you say that robo and the engineer is same? We don't say, right? So similarly here, Krishna being the supreme personality, he is responsible for everything. Whatever actions are happening in this universe, he is responsible for that. Because he has created one particular living entity and he has given so much of power. When you take the case of Arjuna, Arjuna was defeated by a normal person after Lord Krishna has gone to Dwaraka. He was victorious only in the battlefield because of the potency, because of the empowerment given by Lord Krishna to Arjuna. The same Arjuna was failed. He was unable to protect the queens of Lord Krishna when they were all traveling in a chariot. So similarly, everything is given by Krishna only to subsequent Jiva Rasis, Jiva Tattvas. Empowered, Satya Avesha Avatar we are telling, right? So it is all empowered by Krishna to these people. So when we understand that, automatically we will say these people are not either equal or greater than, or they are not independent. Krishna can simply remove that powers. It is like from the powerhouse you are connecting to an AC, AC is functioning. We cannot simply say AC is independently functioning. If I pull that power out, AC will not perform. Though it is so good, you purchased for 2 lakhs rupees worth of AC, but when the power is not given, it is non-operational, it is not at all functioning. So similarly, all the intelligence are given by Krishna to all these people, not only Brahma or Shiva, including us also. But people are considering that they are born with intelligence and all. So that independence is not there without the support of Lord Krishna. So when we understand everything that he is responsible for everything in the universe.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, only when we are agitated in this world with when we deal with the people around us, so when we have this understanding, we will attain peace. So is this the understanding, Prabhuji?
Correct.
So that
Correct.
see
Yeah.
everyone an equal level. So we will have.
When we say that somebody, maybe our neighbor, just for an example, your neighbor is very beautiful, very intelligent. So what should be our feeling is, oh, Krishna is so merciful that he has given more intelligence to this particular than me. Then you see that as equal. In the sense, part and parcel of Krishna. Immediately what happens? We are putting the concept of I. How come he or she is better than me? The jealous starts. We are there, we are considering whatever intelligence. I have gone to Harvard University, I did this course, I did this one. But still, how come this person is more intelligent than me? He cannot be. That the false ego, when it comes to us, automatically we lose track. This particular intelligence to this person is given by the Supreme Personality. Of course, we have the karma aspect, all those things and all. But it is coming from somebody superior. That superior is only managing me. In the same company, you have two clerical people and working in the same department. One is efficient, one is little like is sort of a deficient in his work. But we cannot compare, oh, he is superior to me, that person, the supervisor of that particular unit, he will be treating both as equal because end of the day, he wanted them to perform their job for the company. So similarly, as a living entity, when we understand this living entity is better than me because of the power is given by the Supreme Personality. It is his discretion, his mercy. He got something better. So we attain peace.
And then Prabhuji, how should be the dealings, Prabhuji, when on a daily basis, when we have this attitude, we will we want the other person to win. So that is not practically possible now, Prabhuji, when we always.
Again, we have to see whether you are talking about a materialist or you are talking about a devotee. When you are talking about a materialist, the first instruction is don't go with that materialist at all. You have to break your relationship with that materialist. And if necessary to maintain the relationship, you maintain only for a particular purpose. Maybe some of your relatives may be there, or maybe he may be a house owner, or maybe he is supplying something to your house. So you need to have some relationship, maintain some relationship means only for that particular purpose you do that. But not necessarily a materialist who is not at all a God conscious, who is not coming to our program, who is not chanting, and you are closely moving and you are comparing his or her qualities with yours, and you are unnecessarily getting jealous, or you are losing your spiritual potencies, then we need to stop such people. When it is a devotee, within the devotee, amongst your devotee, if you are having this type of tendency, oh, this devotee is better than me and all, then this is a serious qualities which is lacking in us. Because we need to look at the devotees as equal, servant of the Supreme Lord. Maybe they are extra talented, maybe their prasadam cooking, they are doing a very tasty prasadam, which I am not doing it. Then you need to very submissively you have to go, yes, this Vaishnava is doing a better job. I need to learn from them. The false ego has to come down completely. That is the association, discussion, how this is happening, how you are doing it, what is your sadhana level. I think in one of the classes we spoke about the aparadha, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling Bhakti Bija Lata, how the Bhakti Bija Lata is not growing means it is because of Vaishnava aparadha. When we are performing a Vaishnava aparadha, all these qualities will emanate from us. All these wrong qualities will start coming up in our mind. So Vaishnava aparadha is very, very careful. So as a devotee, if we avoid a Vaishnava aparadha, definitely all these thoughts will not come. For a materialist, like I told you, our relation should be curtailed only to the level which we want to maintain the relationship with them.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. God bless. Padma Mataji can ask your question, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam.
Yes,
it's a very short question, Prabhuji. Who was Parshuram in Ramayana? What was his part?
No, Parshuram is an immortal. Na? He was there. That's it. He has not performed anything directly, but he is immortal and he was there.
Okay, like that only. But he didn't have any...
He has seen Lord Ram. That's it.
Okay, only that much, Prabhuji.
Yeah, yeah.
So we can't place him in anything, in any Leela or anything.
Nothing.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Here the Lord Brahma and Lord everybody, the demigods went to is Kshirodak Sai Vishnu, no, Prabhuji?
Garbhodak Sai Vishnu.
Garbhodak Sai. Hare Krishna, thank you. With Lakshmi, no, Lakshmi ji.
Yeah.
And how about Kshirodak Sai Vishnu, Prabhuji? Lakshmi ji will be there with her?
Lakshmi Devi will be there. Different type of Lakshmi Devis will be there.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for the wonderful class, Prabhuji, and clearing all our doubts, especially mine, because I'm very much still having so many doubts, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Shall we end the
Thank you.
session?
Yes,
Prabhuji?
Mataji. Please, any prayers is there? You want to do it, that you can do that.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha
कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां
पावनेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो
नमो
नमो
नमः
नमः।
अनंत कोटि
वैष्णव
वैष्णव वृंद
की
की
जय,
जय
श्रील
श्रील
प्रभुपाद की
प्रभुपाद की
जय।
जय श्रीमद्
Thank you,
भागवतम
Prabhuji.
की
Hare
जय
Krishna.
दंडवत
Thank you.
प्रणाम प्रभु जी थैंक यू सो मच
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
so much. Pranams.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
End the session, Prabhuji.